Hey YouTube, this is Amos here. I just hit level 100 on SSF. I think I'm ranked 13. I should be ranked 13. Let's see. I don't know if it's gonna update because it wasn't updating earlier. Oh, it updated. Nice. I'm ranked 13. Um, I'm playing weapon swap bogfell. This is the Oscrix build, or the Oscrix kind of invention. Um, let's see here. The bogfell commoner, specifically the variant that drops from the I guess mid boss, like the mini boss from at the start of Act 3. And yeah, this build is I'm actually I'm gonna finish off this map and show you while I actually am I gonna finish off this map? I don't think I'm just gonna show you very briefly. I don't think I'm gonna finish this map because I think it's gonna take too much. But what you do is you just spam weapon swap, and the way I play it is I just run into the mobs. I just spam weapon swap and run into the mobs, and I just kill everything. But yeah, I'll get out of here. I'm gonna show you my gear. So I'm in SSF, so some of this gear is kind of not amazing, not like, the best of the best, but for like the incremental gains and damage, I thought that it would not be worth it for me to keep crafting, keep trying to grind for like ritual omens and whatnot. But yeah, so this is my scepter. It's okay. Spirit could be better. The damage mod here, affix here, could be better. Um, Really, these are the only two mods that could get better. This mod, I mean, it's 1% difference for it to be better, and then minion skills. I guess I could hit a +5 corrupt, but outside of that, I tried crafting. Let's see here. I tried crafting this a while back uh, with aura skills have increased magnitude and all the good stuff. But the issue is I was running into is I actually have to have spirit to do it the way that I want to do it. Um, ring it, with this build, you don't hit. You as like the character don't hit, and your minions don't hit either. So a lot of the prefixes are just completely worthless to you. What I have here is basically just a rarity and res ring with, some life. This is like the only other prefix that I can use that does anything at all. I think the perfect ring for me would be actually a like a glow. I think it's called a gloam ring, a dusk ring. Maybe it's a gloam ring. I'm not sure, but the one where it's +1 suffixes. Um, but what I have here is this breach ring. I I think it's pretty good for what I'm trying to do here. Obviously, there's some T3, T4s, but the main thing is T1, T1 rarity, and T1 cold and chaos res, and then I dropped a calandrous touch, and I mirror this, and it's nutty. It's 100% increased rarity from just the setup. Um, I know this isn't an ancestral's tiara. I was actually crafting it for I don't know like 25% of level 98, and I just could not get it to recombobulate minion skills with an ES mod. So I just gave up and I stuck with this. Pretty nice corrupt for the extra socket. T1 basically everything. The cold res and the life regen, it could be better. I mean, cold res is T3, it could be better. Life regen could be better, but keep in mind this is SSF, and I have very limited like homogenizing exaltations. So I thought I was pretty happy with this. I mean, it's T1 everything else with pretty decent rolls. Um, but yeah, I think let's see if I still have here. This is my like the next closest thing I could get, and for 520, it really wasn't like I really didn't think it would be that substantial of an upgrade. I low rolled on the perfect exalt here when I homogenized, and I got T2 T2, which is why this is so like it's actually comparable. I also kind of failed the corrupt here with mana regen. You really don't want mana regen with this build, and I'll explain why in more detail here. But let's just keep going over the gear. Amulet, I mean, in my opinion, nutty amulet. I got +3 minion skills, which is the main, like the hardest thing for me to find and get. Everything else is just literally T1, 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 the triple T1 for ES essentially. Borderline max rolls. I know this one's not a max roll, but I'm not gonna divine for just like these two are too good. I think. Fire res, max roll, all attributes. In my opinion, this is a very good amulet. I know you can hit T1s on these reses instead and the attributes. These two are kind of like they could be better, but like I think the combination of these four is just too good. And it's on a gold amulet, so the luxury of like just having more increase, like just having increased rarity is just it's nice. It's really nice. I think with this build in total, I'm sitting at like 110, 115. Nuts. Focus. All my crafting this league is just simply you recombob two bases together to get like kind of the ideal setup that you have. And so for focuses, it was I think I did T1 just like the percent ES and then the percent high. No, can't be hybrid, right? No, it can't be hybrid. So it had to be T1 top line, and then just homogenizing Exalt. Yeah, this one not bad. This lightning res was actually a whittled. It used to be what did it used to be? It used to be increased energy shield recharge, I think, just straight up energy, but it was like a T4, T3. I like this focus. I think it's pretty nutty. Decent rolls across the board. The faster. So I was originally playing hardcore SSF, and so I placed a lot more priority on like faster start of an ES. So I was kind of happy. I was really happy with this initially, but then I died, and then I dropped out of SSF. So this is like a lot less value. These are my robes. These are my armor. I have. Well, let's go over this one first. T1, 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 like all T1 prefixes on this specific base with an implicit. Again, I was originally playing hardcore SSF, and even in SSF, I don't want to die, so I put a lot more priority on getting this, like the faster start of ES stat. So you can see here I have like two lines here. It's 100% pretty much. All of these are T1, pretty good rolls in my opinion. Pretty good rolls. Some more lightning res, fire and chaos res. I think this robe is pretty nutty. 944. It's pretty good. I know that Vile robes, which is what I used to. This is what I wore before I got light crafted this one. I know Vile robes get you higher ES, but I again like just having flat ES without the like a really good faster start felt kind of bad in hardcore because it just felt like as soon as I get chunked, and I just have to walk away and just sit in timeout for a little bit while my ES recharged. So having higher, faster starter recharge rate really kind of made it feel like I could actually just keep charging in, and I would actually heal in like the small time frames that Blasphemy was stalling people out. But I do have this Val Robe ES for with 1120, not bad. It's corrupted, extra socket, all T1s. Really hurt me when I got this reduced attribute requirement, but it is what it is. The boots. This is one of the most embarrassing and like educational things that I learned playing like hardcore SSF and SSF in general. You learn a lot about crafting. I spent probably I don't know, like 50 perfect transmutes, perfect augs on boots that had item level below 82. So that was pretty embarrassing because I just could not understand like how am I not hitting this 35% increase to move speed, and after a while I looked up some information and I realized, oh, it's because I literally cannot. So that was pretty embarrassing, but you know, I got it figured out eventually. Got 35% move speed, got the max ES, got T1 everything basically in the prefixes, slammed random suffixes and kind of worked around it. this pair of boots is not bad in my opinion. I know the rolls could be a little bit better, but I didn't think it was worth divining because it was good enough, and like I really wanted to focus on leveling. So as soon as I got good enough gear, I didn't want to waste more time crafting or like wasting time and resources on it. Um, but yeah, I think in an ideal world, if I could get dropped like any like the rune of the chase, I think of move. I've never gotten it, so I don't know what it's like what it is. I would use the like 100% increase. So I also don't have any of those either. I didn't get dropped any, so I've been volleying everything. But yeah, I would love to have more move speed on this. Headhunter, Headhunter's a headhunter. Nothing to like, nothing to go into here. I was chancing every single heavy belt that I got. I probably chanced easily over 100, and never hit. This just dropped on a random day, so that was really nice. I think Headhunter. Once I got Headhunter, this build became how do I put this? It was the build was good. It became very, very, very good after you get Headhunter. And I'll go into more why later when I do like a little showcase as to like this build going through some of the pinnacle content. Gloves, just again, just nothing crazy. Just T1 T1 all prefixes, and then for suffixes, I just take whatever I can get. To be honest, um, not gonna not gonna care too much. All the suffixes are pretty. Uh, the way I do it is I get all my prefixes figured out, and then I desecrate for suffix, and then I homogenize for the rest, right? Because all I really care about is res after that point, or rarity. In this case, I got res. It's fine. Flask. These are just generic dropped from Simulacrum. Just exceptionals. Just any generic exceptionals. Nothing too picky here. Um, just some. This is kind of like a generic, I would say, ES charm setup for if you don't have CI, which this build I did not go CI. It was too far away, in my opinion, too costly, and also I wanted to leverage my HP a little bit more for being a Titan. So that's my build. This is my gear. I'll show you my tree. So there's a lot of traveling early on. So when I leveled with Essence Drain Contagion, which I'm sure you've heard a bunch now at this point. Like everyone levels with the Essence Drain Contagion. As soon as you get to Act 3, you can hard pivot into the build, and it's immediately online. You don't need like any more additional time after getting like to Act 3 before you can start the bogfelled weapon swap setup. It's just immediately online. Ascendancy, this last two don't matter. It's this one, right? It's this one. This is you're playing Titan. There's a reason why you're playing Titan. It's hulking form, and then mysterious lineage. This is the only other one that does anything at all. I skirted with I flirted with the idea of doing an armor variant of this build, but I was already kind of like, I guess I already had gear like that I was aiming towards ES, and I thought it would be easier to craft ES because I've played an ES character, like a hybrid ES character before, so I didn't do anything with armor because I thought it would actually be, I didn't know how hard it would be to craft for it, so I just left this alone. And this is just useless. This does nothing. But okay, starting off, it's just a bunch of traveling early on. It's actually kind of a little slow leveling, a little painful. You initially kind of follow this curve here. Don't go left here as soon as you can. This is a little bit more like luxury after you get some like excess levels, if you will, like after you're like in the 70s, I would say. I would follow this route. Go defensive. Again, I started in hardcore, so going defensive here, like right off the bat, I was perfectly fine with. These nodes are not bad at all because of hulking form. Normally these ES nodes would feel kind of bad, but if you're comparing an 18% to a normal 15%, these nodes are actually better. So hulking form just makes these nodes pretty okay. And then once you're traveled to this point, I would not go to the right here. I would not do any of this. until you have like excess points like 70s or 80s. I would actually go this way. And again, I played very defensive when I was in campaign early on in hardcore. I made it to 98, so I played very defensive. I went all these ES nodes, and this is primarily why I can't go CI. I did consider it. I just wasn't really sure like if it was worth it because the extra traveling for me felt bad. It's like a one node difference, but this one node difference here is like the one node difference here. It just felt bad because I would rather take the 40% increase. And if you have CI and you're playing heavy buffer, you just immediately die. As soon as you take any damage, you just immediately die. So I didn't take CI mainly for this. And this allows me to leverage my health pot. This allows me to leverage my health total, my health pool. It allows this ascendancy node to actually kind of do something. So I really don't think this is that bad. I think from here, this is where you kind of commit to this path here. You come up here, and you take these nodes on the left side, like first, right off the bat, and then you go up here and do gigantic after you hit like a good scepter with spirit. Because I say a good scepter. You just need a scepter with spirit. I think without spirit, you can't really do the build the way that I have, where you can constantly swap. And I'll get more into this in a little bit, but so I think it's initially you kind of keep traveling here, go here into this fire res section, and then you go here into this gigantic section, and then you come down here to this minion life section, and then after that you go up. I would ignore this. Early on, ES is trash. Just being blunt, it's bad. You can take this if you're really struggling, but I feel like you have enough damage early on with bogfelled that you don't actually take too much damage. That being said, it's been a while since I went through campaign, so maybe I'm just completely full of it, and you actually need to take these first, but I think you can take these later. You come up to here, and you take these nodes here. This is a huge increase in your damage once you take all these. For the longest time, I didn't have these area of effect nodes, and I think it feels really, really bad, in my opinion, to take these area of effect nodes because the area of effect is just so small. But I think you have to take them because even though the area of effect is so small, this little bit does a lot. It does a lot. Take all this, take these, and then when you have enough levels, then you come down here, take these, then come through here and take these as you go. You can prioritize whichever like path you want in terms of like what you feel like you're lacking. If you're thinking you need more defense, I would come down here first. These or this one node rather, this 12%, so important for the build. You should never get stunned. You should never get like shocked or whatnot. Well, I don't know if that's true. If shock ground will still shock you, but like you really shouldn't get stunned. With just this one node, you're kind of sitting pretty. You don't really need these. I had these for the longest time, but then after a while I realized I can just drop those and just go for just this, and it's good enough. Yeah. You come down here, take these. If you're lacking defenses, I would go down here first. Take these ES nodes first, and then if you're thinking that you're sitting pretty well, but you want more HP, like more damage, then I would go up here first. I think going down this route is only when you have when you're in the 90s. Initially, you're gonna want to go through this way because it saves you a point. Once you get enough levels, you can come here for the jewel slot for that extra point, which I do think is worth it, because otherwise you only have one jewel slot, right? Take all these ES nodes. Don't take this. I read this as 2 separate sentences, but it's actually just one sentence. Don't take this. It's not good. If it was 2 separate sentences, this would have been so nice, because then all these armor splits get added to ES, and I'd probably have 50,000 ES. I don't know. Come down, take these. I am taking these It's this one's actually not that bad. It's the exact same as these other nodes, like the 15% max health. So this is not that bad. And then there's like this one node here. Yep, yep, yep. So these are the two kind of like one-off nodes that I have, where you don't want to commit to the whole tree because the whole tree is not worth it, right? Like 15% max ES, and you don't want mana regen. And I'll go into more why you don't want mana regen later, but and then these nodes are weaker. They're not 15%, right? So they're not as good. So I would just take this if you have the excess. Take these, and then you're pretty much done. Before I got this from nothing, which, by the way, you want Vol Pact. You just want Vol Pact. Trust me on this, you want Vol Pact. But I never got it. So instead, I just took, I got this from nothing, and I come down here and I allocated these two. Basically, for a total of 3 nodes, right? I'm getting 64% increased damage. Um, that's better than taking 3 nodes of minion damage, right? So that's the tree. It's nothing super complicated, but it does feel very bad early on when you're leveling Essence Strain Contagion because you have no damage nodes. You're just taking straight travel nodes, and it feels a little slow. But as soon as you hit Act 3, everything kind of turns on, and you become a character. You become playable. Okay, let's look at the skills. You have to have. I say you have to have. You really, really, really want a Shrine Scepter that's like the Fire variant, the Purity of Fire variant. Why? Because you're giving. It's the aura, right? You're giving the Purity of Fire to allies in your presence, so you're boosting the fire res on your bogfelled. So as they're burning to death from Infernal Legion, right? Because that's how this whole build works. The Bogfelled, Infernal Legion, and Searing Flame combo, where the Bogfells burn themselves, they take 30% of their maximum life as fire damage, right? And they're igniting everyone within them, like within 2 meters, as though they're doing 25%. So if you give the Bogfelled all the fire res they can get, um, they just take significantly less, like 30% of their maximum life is not as like crazy because they'll live a lot longer than 3 seconds, as you can see here. It's still ticking, don't get me wrong, it's still substantial damage, but if I walk further away, I don't know if I can walk further away. It goes a lot faster. So Purity Fire, I think it's a must. Uh, you slot in just whatever. I don't know, everyone says it's a bug. I don't know if it's intended or not, but as of right now, whatever you slot in here, it's free. So slotting in stuff that decreases status elements, pretty good, right? So I have Ignite Duration, um, and Shock, that's it. I have the Charm for freezing, and Chill doesn't, I don't think there's one for Chill. So I didn't have the chill. I added +1 level so I can get more fire res out of this. I'll give it to the Bogfelled. I have plenty of fire res, as you can see here, so I'm not like needing it, but I thought giving it to the Bogfelled would be nice. The other ones didn't seem that important to me. And then Upswelling. This is why you don't want mana regen. Your main's still 50% increased damage while you're not on full mana. You really don't want mana regen because then that way, if you just like do any ability, right, you have substantial time on when like you're back to full mana. So your minions do 50% more damage during that whole time. And I'm going to do a Zesh run towards the end here, and I'm going to do Simulacrum to kind of show you how Pinnacle content goes. I don't have Arbiter Shards, and I don't think I have any more Ritual Splinters, but I would do those if I could. So the supports for the Spogfeld, Infernal Legion, Searing Flame. I think you just have to. These two are like no question. You have to have these. In my opinion, the next like mandatory one in terms of priority is Feeding Frenzy. Then it's kind of up to you. I'm using Overreach, which is 40% increased area of effect. There's the other one. I don't remember what it was. I think it was Magnified Effects. Yeah, 10% less area damage. So instead of having 10% less area damage, you can just like, you know, you're giving away 5%, right? Because this is 45%, this is 40. You're giving away 5%, but you know, you're not giving away 10% damage. So I thought this was better. And then the last one, if you can get I think it's Diala's Desire or Dala's Desire, that's better than this. But unfortunately, I never got dropped one. So I have this, which converts, or not converts, sorry. You just gain 20% of all the ignite, like fire damage that you're dealing as 20% extra chaos damage. Blasphemy. The, I did not realize how OP this was, but Blasphemy with Temporal Chains just makes you a tank. This skill setup is the primary reason on this build like functioning to the degree that it is. Like I'm actually able to just face tank, run into mobs, purely because of Blasphemy with Temporal Chains. All of these sockets here, let's see what I have. I think these are kind of non-negotiable. Like these are just what you use for the support. There's not anything else that you can really put in here. It's magnified area, increased area of effect. You want more area of effect. Slow potency. It, yeah, it's just 15% increase slow magnitude from temporal. It's good. More area of effect, and then increased magnitude. I think all of these are just kind of no contest. You have to have these specific supports. Skeletal Storm Mage, you don't have to have this. Early on, you won't have this. Early on, you will just have... Oh, I need to go over this. Early on, you will have just the bogfelled. Later on, I add the Storm Mage because shock. I have Feeding Frenzy, Rapid Casting, Last Gasp. You want Last Gasp because the bogfelled can tank stuff, but the Storm Mage generally can't. And if the Storm Mage dies and you weapon swap, it puts everything on CD. So this kind of goes with anything else. If you have summons, you want Last Gasp. Stormfire, shocks from supporting skill do not expire on ignite enemies. Our bogfelled ignites. Hopefully this guy shocks. If this goes off, then the shock never wears off, and then just shock. Going back to this, and I apologize, I kind of skipped this. When you like summon the bogfelled or reserve your spirit, you don't want to just press this and like go off of that. You want to pop open the extra menu and then go like update it here. You want to have an even number and an odd number, and this way it allows you to constantly weapon swap and pull the bogfelled to you while also summoning a new bogfelled, right? So right now I have two. Summons the Storm Mage to replace the one, and then it will summon another one and replace that one. Yep. I'm kind of blanking. I thought I was going to say something, but I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, if it comes back to me, I'll bring it up. But yeah. You need an even number, you need an odd number, otherwise you won't actually be able to weapon swap and have it pull to you. It'll just be like the same guy, and as you're weapon swapping, he's just walking. Like nothing happens if you don't have an even and odd number. Elemental weakness. You actually don't need this. Like I haven't used this in a while. I think you need it between levels 80 to maybe 70 to 80 actually. As you're progressing through maps, you hit a certain breaking point after a while that you don't really need elemental weakness. It just doesn't like... I haven't used this in maps or on a pinnacle in a minute, just being honest. I'm too lazy. Don't get me wrong, this does help with clears. I'm just too lazy to press these extra buttons. So I haven't really... I would say this is kind of like a luxury. You need this initially, but then after you get it and you're like in deep 90s, you never use this. Magnified area, more area. These are kind of just standard, right? Cursed ground, heightened curse. I think here the cursed ground maybe is like kind of like the personal taste. I think outside of that it's just area of effect, right? Everything's area of effect and then increased magnitude. So I have magnified area, expanse, ritualistic curse. All of these go for area of effect, and there's heightened curse for magnitude, and there's cursed ground to kind of keep it there. And I'll show you. I'll probably use this Razesh just to kind of like prove my clear. Frost Bomb. Now I think this is necessary because one of the glaring weaknesses with this kit is you don't have a way to get Fire Pin, and this is like the only way to get Fire Pin. So Frost Bomb, what I have here is Potent Exposure, Magnified Area 2, Prolonged Duration, Cooldown Recovery 2, Long Fuse 2. I like Long Fuse because, like, you see these waves, these like ripples, these pulsing. As it gets quicker. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My mic died. As these pulses get like quicker towards the end, they apply like each pulse applies another 2%. So having this additional like these quicker pulses towards the end from Long Fuse, it actually applies like the 2% stacking like quicker. So I actually like Long Fuse because the explosion itself is irrelevant. I don't care about the explosion, but I care about the pulsing. Convalescence. If you're playing an ES build, I don't see how you're getting away with not having Convalescence. You need this. You need this. Especially if you're playing face tank, when you're running into like a breach mob, chip damage will occur, and like if the chip damage, if they chip you for like 12k, you're going to want a Convalescence just to be safe. Convalescence, I don't think there's anything crazy here. Like these, it's just these three, and there's nothing else to put in here. Cooldown Recovery 2, Second Wind 3, Prolonged Duration. This allows you to have 2 charges in case you're like in a really bad spot. But yeah, nothing crazy here. What are some things that might be different here? You don't see muster because I couldn't rationalize. Well, like, so the way my spirit works, I don't have enough spirit, right? If I had more spirit, I could get more of the skeletal, like other skeletal things and put in muster here. But I kind of didn't want to play with all of them. I thought this was like sufficient. I do understand that muster probably is more damage, but that would mean I would have to invest a lot more into crafting a scepter. And as I was progressing through T15 maps, you know, with Delhi, I thought this was good enough, so I kind of left it alone, and I just added in the chaos damage over muster, and I thought this was like, I'm not going to say it's better, because it's probably not better, but it's good enough. The other thing you probably don't see here is, what is it called? I don't actually remember. It's offering. It's the offering thing. What is it? I don't have it. The one where you sacrifice your minion to buff it, like to give it increased damage. I couldn't get it to work mainly because this is all I could afford with my spirit. I guess I could sacrifice the Storm Mage, but when I was doing the weapon swapping tech, as soon as I weapon spammed, it actually got rid of the totem. So I decided that I'm just gonna let it go, and at the end of the day, it's like some percentage damage or whatever. I know it's substantial damage, but I just thought it was I was good enough, and I'll show you here in a little bit. Where's my Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Okay, is there anything else to go over with the build? I don't think so. I'm going to show you gameplay. Let's do Breach. It'll be quick. Oh, I don't have enough. I'll do Breach. I have Blasphemy on. I have Temporal Change on. I'm not going to turn it off when I get to Zesh because I'm too lazy, but I'm going to just show you, right? But you don't need it. So here's the gameplay mechanic. You just spam weapon swap, and you move your character into the monsters. I set my weapon swap to right click. You see that there's no binding here. It's because I rebinded it to weapon swap. So you just spam right click. You just spam the weapon swap button, and you can just walk through. Everything melts, unless they have fireballs, and that's when you'll have to press your first button. That's when it'll be a 2-button build. But for right now, it's a 1-button build. It's a spammy 1-button build, but it is 1-button build. And you see here, everything's just dying. These mobs, typically, like once you hit I want to say like 80, 70, maybe even if you're lucky with your crafting, or you know, purchasing from trade. You can go through breach no issues whatsoever. Now Zesh, you'll probably have to use all your like elemental res buttons if you're like early level. But I'll show you here that this build's progressed enough that I don't even have to do that for Zesh. I mean, it might live for like a little bit longer than you might feel comfortable having to interact with its skills, but on the other side, you're tanky enough that you can honestly tank all of its skills and be fine. But yeah, just one. And then if you ever see like a fire res rare, just press E on it, lower its res, you'll still kill it. It's just gonna take like an extra second. I think that one had ES builds in. Yeah, and then with Headhunter, life becomes really nice, because then as you're doing content like this, it's even faster, right? And I don't care about items. I'm level 100. This is all I wanted, so I don't care about items. Wouldn't it be nice if this just drops me a mirror right now, right here? That'd be really nice. So I just spam. I set it to the mage because I want to have shock over here. So my minions don't get tanks, so just tank no issues. Oh, I didn't put spark. Oh, I didn't get shock corpse. Just press E. Oh, there's shock, and now it's going to last forever. And now I just weapon swap on him a little bit, put the crossbomb down, it's just dead. Just that easy. It takes a little bit longer. I know it's not lightning arrow or deadeye, you know, kind of setup, but I feel like this is still pretty reasonable for being a kind of easier build to kind of get going. Okay, I'd show you Sim. Sim's gonna take a while. Do I want to show Sim, or do I want to show something else? Maybe I want to show something else. I don't know. Maybe I just show Sim. Whatever. I'll show Sim and then I'll end the video. Is there anything else that I wanted to yap about? Oh, okay. Okay, before we start Sim, because once we get into Sim, I'll probably just, I guess, let the video roll and like do nothing else. I think of this as a mechanic 9 out of 10. I think it'd be 10 out of 10 if it spawned a lot sooner and it didn't have the ground effects, like the exploding little green blobs. I abhor ground effects. I think, what else do I think? I think sprint should just be part of the base move speed. Like if you move in a direction, or if you move like in any direction for a certain amount of time, I think you should just change into sprint, from like walking to sprinting. None of this like pressing space and holding it and then having like this weird like turn radius nonsense. None of that. Just if you're moving in a direction and you're able to move in that direction freely for a certain amount of time, you can just sprint. And then, you know, if you stop like if you move back like towards the other direction, right, with Wazda, then it should stop sprinting. What else? I think stash tabs are OP. This game's like 100% pay to win, because if I didn't have stash tabs, I don't see how I'd be able to like, I was running out of space just hoarding bases for crafting. What else? I don't like the new logbook changes, or the runic splinter specifically, because then it turns it from doing expeditions inside maps and causing there to be an extra layer of like tedium and doing logbooks to farm these splinters. Yeah, I don't like that. As you can see here, I've farmed some stuff. What else? I think that's really it at this point, right? No. The tower changes need to be reverted. It sucks, but let's be honest here. The tower change, the towers were better, in my opinion, than what we have currently. I think it's just like, instead of me fiddling with tablets each map, I would rather just fiddle with tablets once on a tower and then be done with it. Because now I have to hoard tablets in my inventory so I can use them each map. I don't like that. It sucks, but towers were actually not that bad based on kind of just hindsight. And then in that same vein, towers are useless now, so something needs to change in that regard. I think that's it. I'm just gonna do the simulacrum, and oh wait, I wanted to do all my stats, right? Okay, here we go. So what are they? It's like kills. 3.8 monsters. Deaths? Oh, no, no, no. Deaths? 3 times. I can tell you each... Okay, so here's what happened. The very first death, I'm a big dum-dum. It was like right after lunch. I was a little sleepy, and I did an expedition. Took expedition inside the map. Took a bunch of like damage mods. Got nuked pretty badly. Second death, I did it for science. Same situation. I was a little sleepy. I got a little impatient, and on Molten Vault, you got to remember, okay, these bogfelds have 144k life. So I saw that my bogfelds were walking into the lava to chase after the boss on Molten Vault. I don't remember the guy's name. So I thought to myself with a bright idea, well, yeah, I can just walk in there too, so I can weapon swap on top of the boss, and it'll help kill him. So I walked into the lava on Molten Vault. Insta died. Yeah. Then, my third death, so the thing about this weapon swap build is you have to weapon swap. If you don't weapon swap, and it goes on cooldown for 6 seconds, you have no damage for 6 seconds. So what I did was I was running around the map, and I stopped weapon swapping. I don't remember if it was just like I don't know, I was stretching my hand, or I went to grab a cup of water and I forgot. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I stopped weapon swapping. And I ran into a breach, like a breach hand, right? So I started a breach, and I died instantly because I had no damage, and the mobs just, I was in a pretty juiced map, so all the mobs just is like 100 monsters spawn instantly on top of me. Even with Blasphemy to Point Change, it's not enough to save you with 100 monsters right on top of your head and no damage. So I died instantly there as well. Pretty lame ways to die overall. None of it's like interesting, none of it's cool. I didn't die fighting Uber Armor or anything like that. It was just simply, I died like a dumbass. But yeah. So this league, I really hope for Point 4, GGG puts out some content for in-game, like some love for the people that are like trying to get to 100 each league, some people that are just trying to play longer than like the first month of the league, because the in-game right now is just, it's a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. XP's hard to get. You kind of, like, unless you're trying to craft like a literal god BIS everything, you run out of content pretty early. I think they definitely need to bring back like XP gain and loss from like pinnacle content, because I think it's kind of lame that I'm doing this content that's just worth nothing. But I guess I'm not gonna say that. I don't care about the loot after I get up and stuff up. I think in Point 4, I'm hoping that's like my main prayer, that there's in-game, for lack of a better way to put it. Following that, it'll probably be tower changes. Following that, just give everyone that 50% extra move speed. I promise you, it's not like the wrong thing to do. Give everyone 50% move speed, then there will be less complaining from everyone that's not on the right side of the tree, that can't get access to movement speed nodes, and it also kind of nerfs the movement speed nodes, because then getting the additional like 3%, maybe it's actually like 2%, 3% move speed, isn't as like amazing, because you already have plus 50. Don't get me wrong, it's still good, but like it's not as crazy. But yeah. Just going through Sims. It's pretty easy. You just kind of stand in place, weapon swap. It's pretty chill. I think it's really chill until you hit about like corridor. Then you kind of have to screw moving, because the glaring issue with this build is lack of meds, like pit meds pit. So you have to start moving, you have to start spamming your E. I guess I have E in this case, you have to start spamming your function to like take some roses down. Not it's something different also. Like, you know, if you're tired of LA Deadeye. If you're tired of LA period actually. Oops. Okay, didn't mean to do that. I think it's a glitch, right? Because I definitely clicked. Yeah, it's a glitch. I don't know if they know about it.
What happened here?
That's fine. It goes away. It doesn't go away. I can just leave. It's actually pretty handy if like you're in a big one. You just get out of dodge. What else? Let's do something else. I stream on Twitch, like, rarely, but maybe, you know, you'll find me there. Drop a follow if you can be so kind. I have a loot filter, by the way, which is why if you don't see anything popping up, that's why I know there's nothing there. I just don't care about the loot. I care about XP. That's all I care about. And now that I've hit 100, I don't know if I care about XP anymore. What do I care about? Gotta set new goals. I think I need to come up. I guess the new leads coming in some replicate content there. For that, I think they should definitely nerf the crafting a little bit, because this is like, it's kind of crazy how easy it is to craft right now. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still kind of hard for like some items that you have to whittle for, like Chaos Whittle for. But for all my items, right, like, there's just straight defensive items where you can get, like, just flat ES one, let's say, or something, or even evasion. Homogenizing exaltation perfects, like, it's kind of nutty, I haven't dropped a single Megalo between runs. If I could get a Megalo between runs, I think that would be a really nice way to kind of cap off this character and send it really simple. I've been playing this for you know what? While I'm asking for things, let's just drop a mirror while I'm at it. A mirror and a block. Because I haven't seen either of those in my, I don't know, like 3,000 hours of playing this game. Oh, I should look at time play. I forgot to look at time play. I'll do that here at time here. Because I think I'm interested in stuff. Compared to my last character that I hit it should be slower because the last character was standard, or not standard, but like just like trade for 29. So it should be like easier for me to have hit with resources available too. I'm not ready. See, I'm going. And I think at this point, this is where like you kind of just walk back and forth, like in a line, and things will die. It just takes an extra second now because you don't have res. These things start to get res. I didn't actually look for a modifier, I'm just gonna just go because I know that whatever the modifiers are, it's fine. I can take it. Damage to kill it. Done. Stash popped up. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll probably respond because I have, like, you know, I have nothing else going on now that I've hit 100. Next league, I think I'm gonna try to play an old character. I don't think I'm gonna do this again. I'm try to go for like a, I don't know, maybe like a literal generic type, just Mace, Stampede, Earth Shatter, Leaping Strike. Finish this up. Oh, also, so I kind of price checked some of these items like a couple months back. I had this some prices probably haven't fluctuated, but this build itself is actually not that expensive for you to get going off the ground. I think with like literally one div investment, you can get, let's say, to like 85% of effectiveness on like what I have now, which I believe in trade, like that's a pretty like that's pretty what's the word? Bang. That's a pretty good investment, like one div to be able to do pinnacle content. And it's like a different really good place to go. If you're tired of playing, because I don't think there's any other place to go that's weapon swap, like you do damage with weapon swap. Maybe that's still a slight exaggeration. I still need to look at the time how long we played, but I'm gonna assume it's like 22 days of playtime or something like that. I don't see how everyone else does it. Like everyone else is just crazy. Everyone else that like finishes first week or 2 weeks. I don't even know anything short of like what I've done, because I swear I've been spamming and still like I just can't compete against those people. They just gotta be disgusting. Feels bad. Okay, let's look at time. What is it? Played? Oops. 18 days. That's not that bad. That's not that bad at all. Alright. Thanks, YouTube. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next league.